Welcome to Cardboard Box. Today we're going to take a look at Combiner Wars Huffer. This small Legends class toy came out in 2015. Unsurprisingly for a Huffer character, he turns into an orange truck with some very obvious robot feet sticking out from the bed of that truck. While the front of the transport truck looks good and is well painted, the back is not even trying to hide those robot legs. Combiner Wars was known for its many retools and repaints within the line, so it should come as no surprise to learn that Huffer was not an original mold. He was based on the Optimus Prime toy that came out 2 years earlier from the Thrilling 30 line. Here he is next to Huffer. Huffer, Huffer, and Huffer. Here he is next to Ironhide and Fangry. Here he is next to Outback and a movie Optimus Prime. He comes with a gun. While it may look silly plugged into his roof, it's pretty fun and useful up there. Keep walking, Fangry, this ain't your video. Huffer has a simple but interesting transformation. Fold down the grill, pull out the arms, unfold the cab from the legs, rotate the upper torso, hinge up the grill onto the back, spread out the chest, flip up the head, and he's done. The only tricky part about the transformation is getting the waist hinge to unfold and align properly, but it's pretty intuitive and you'll get the hang of it eventually. Some people have said that his head is too small or that he's a pinhead. I understand that opinion, but his head size doesn't bother me. I think the face sculpt is well done. He's a nice looking bot with very heroic proportions, and that makes sense since it was based on an Optimus Prime. Here he is next to the original mold. Here he is next to Huffer, 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 and Huffer. Here he is next to Fangry, Cloudburst, a movie Prime, Outback, and Ironhide. Let's just go back to Outback for a bit. You can see here how people may have an issue with the size of Huffer's head. Both toys are in the Legends class. That's to say they are approximately the same size and price point, but it's obvious to me that proportionally they are very different. They are really at two different scales. The Optimus mold that is being worn by Huffer represents a larger robot character, shrunk down to a very small size. If these designs were in scale with each other, it might look something like this. Traditionally, Huffer has been a small bot. Nobody expects him to be a large bot like Optimus Prime. It's kinda lazy to turn a Legends Optimus repaint into Huffer. The benefit of all this is that you get a pretty well designed Huffer toy, because they usually put a lot of polish into making a Prime, which sells a whole lot better. But I would argue that Huffer deserves his own mold, one that fits better into the Legend scale. Now for articulation. Head rotates. Chest can be closed or opened. The head can nod on a transformation hinge. The shoulder coverings can be open or closed. Arms can rotate 360 on a ball joint. The closed shoulder coverings limit the outward movement of the arms. When opened, the range is much better. The ball joint at the elbow allows a 90-degree bend and full rotation of the forearms. He can almost do it splits. I think if you push it, he can really do it. He can kick forward this far, back this far. He can rotate at the knee ball joint and it has a 90-degree bend. If you move the back kibble a little bit, he can rotate his upper torso. Oops, I just noticed that I had his back section down a little too low for much of that video. It's supposed to be positioned further up on the back. You can sort of give him an alternative robot mode by shifting some things around.
Hey, being fat's okay?
BotCon Huffer approves. Let's get him back to normal. His rifle is kind of interesting. It's not the same rifle that is shown in the instructions. Production art is notoriously always inaccurate. The gun has a 5mm peg for his hands and a 3mm peg for use by smaller bots. Even little Prime Masters like this guy can hold it. What the fuck? Oh snap. Thanks Beast Hunter Huffer, but it's too late. The damage has been done. But why would Cloudburst do such a thing? Wait, that's not a Prime Master. That's Fangry. He plugged into Huffer's 5mm port. I guess that's one way to give Huffer a bigger head. I'm surprised this works, but it does. Fangry, you just can't take over Huffer and walk away with his body. This is not your review. Come on out, Huffer. I know you're in there. That's better. As a retool of a toy that existed before Combiner Wars, Huffer is sort of an ill-fitting addition to the line. He wasn't meant to be a combiner, but that hasn't stopped people from trying it. He also wasn't meant to be a Headmaster, but as I've shown, he can do that too. For whatever reason, Combiners Wars Huffer and these repaint pipes are somewhat difficult to find nowadays, at least at a reasonable price. For a long time, he was the only official Huffer in the Chug scale. I do think the Huffer character deserves a modern, unique Legends class treatment, as was given to the other G1 mini-bots such as Powerglide, Sea Spray, Beachcomber, and Windcharger. But that's not going to happen. The legend scale has sort of disappeared. Sort of. Newer mini-bots in the War for Cybertron line, such as Cliffjumper, Warpath, and even Huffer, have all been given the deluxe treatment instead. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I suspect a lot of folks will be ditching their Combiner Wars Huffer for the Kingdom version. So soon there may be a bunch of people selling off their Legends Huffers, hopefully for dirt cheap. Despite this toy being a minor retool and repaint, he's actually quite fun. Thanks for watching Cardboard Bots. See you next time. Like my vids? Buy me a coffee. It's easy. Visit coffee.com/cardboardbots.
Cardboard